tuned in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucious, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience.
Yes, sir.
We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hi, beautiful people. Way to survive conference and way to survive conference and all of these championship, not championship meets. Welcome back. Welcome to life. We're all surviving our travel and getting things done. So if you didn't know what you clicked on, welcome to Athletics LLC. And let's introduce these wonderful gentlemen I'm with here. We'll start off with Lamar, fast like Felix Huffins.
What's going on, people? What's going on?
Goodness gracious, somebody help him. Clyde, how are you tonight?
I'm living, I'm good.
Tell us about the bow tie.
Oh, just part of the collection. No special, no special custom things about this one. It's from the store somewhere.
We're gonna need to build you a tree, a little tower that you can hang them all on and whatnot.
Yeah, because the closet don't work at all. It's
Love it. Last but definitely not least, the one that I'm trying to demote and having to re-promote every week, Sir Lucious. How are you, sir?
I am well. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Spectacular.
Excellent. Well, awesome. We will definitely get things rolling and start off hot. Just coming blazing. And let's talk about what happened this week, right? Oh, see, look. Lamar's switching or flipping the switch. I'm sorry. Looking like we're over the top here. Track is back, and man, did it not disappoint. I mean, I feel like we say that every week, and every week we're like, it happened again, right? So what are some notables that you all took away from this past weekend?
I'm sorry, did something other than 158.40 happen this weekend? Because I don't really remember anything else.
Right. Well, and let's
a lot of other things happened besides that, but I mean, I witnessed that firsthand.
Yes, so please. That's I wanted to throw that to you because you really.
So all I'm going to tell you is this: is that she made that look incredibly easy. Like there was never a moment where you thought, oh, she's gonna break. There was never a moment where you thought, oh my God, this is gonna be an issue. It was just, it was funny with about right around 200 to go. I think it was the announcer's like, I think she might break 2 minutes. And I said out loud, I think she might break 158. Because the 2 minutes was never an issue. Because it wasn't like she got the 600 and there was a strain and there was a break. It's just, she was just on it the whole way. It was incredible. I was, and there was other young ladies in the race. Young lady in second, 2.5 second PR. Young lady in third, 2.5 PR. Ran incredible races, but nobody would ever know because they were in the back seat of the 158.40.
The what I loved about the post race, I mean, the race itself was beautiful and savage and disrespectful, all in the same gamut. But the tweet, that girl said, I just did that so everybody knows I'm not a 400-meter runner, which was incredible. Like, there's not, I don't know, if anyone who's not on the Thing Move train, you are super late and you better get on it. They should have just rolled the Heisman, aka the Bowerman, out to the middle of the stadium and presented it to her right there.
Here's the caveat to the tweet. She declared for the 4 and scratched the 8 for next weekend.
Hey,
I did not see that.
I mean, she probably bored in that. So I mean, what you got?
You can't blame her. But when she says, "I just did that so people know I'm not a 400 runner, now I'm gonna go run the 400," just show you I can run it, probably. So
all the more savage from this young lady. All the more reason to absolutely love that. I'm gonna drop the most incredible 800 ever, and then I'm not even gonna run it next week because that's child's play. I'm gonna go destroy everybody in my secondary event. And I'm, we're not allowed to gamble as NCAA affiliates, but if we were, I'd put whatever that she's gonna break the 400 record too. So, go ahead, Miss Moo, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, the 8-4 double is not really a thing. Let's just explain that to the rest of the mere mortals of the world. Like, that's not really a double. Yes, there are a few people on this planet that have done it, but that's not a thing. And evidently, it is a thing to a thing, because she makes this look like it's supposed to be happening and that people are supposed to be training for these two events and they're supposed to be running them intermittently. And that's just not it. So you can mess around and get somebody hurt. I like it.
Well, and ironically, there were some other very good things that happened in that track meet in particular, and other places around the country. I'll start with the Big Ten and the 45 flat by and the 400 up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When did 45 seconds get to be so cheap indoors?
Oh, well, we think about it like this. It took $45.99 to make the meet.
Right.
Yeah.
If you ran 46.01, most people would think that's a great time. Yeah,
You're locked in.
Yep, you're not going. And the only reason the 45.99 got in is because Matt Bowling scratched the 4 to go to the 2. And talk about great performances. I mean, ironically, he gets a little bit lost because he didn't win anything this weekend. But watched him take 6 jumps in a long jump, walk over, change his shoes, set his blocks, and go 20:38.
Yep.
Then he comes back and his 200 final wasn't stellar, but he gets DQ'd and all that stuff. Then literally 25 minutes later, leads off the relay in 45:18.
You know what? The relay leadoff was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I
Best
was
all weekend in my mind.
I was shocked to see it that way, especially watching the way the race played out. I think the other Georgia kid, his name was Godwin, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his last name.
Yep.
Incredible athlete, incredible 400-meter runner, but finishing isn't really his strong suit from watching the races. If you flip him in bowling, I feel like Georgia wins that 4x4.
If you flip him in bowling, I don't know that Elijah would go out like that if he wasn't chasing somebody. That's what I would say, because if you watch the Open 4, he went pretty hard and that stung pretty bad. Mm-hmm. So I would say that just from talking to his coach AT, her thought process is, him coming off of a 400, it's better to have him chasing somebody than having to go out and run his lane. And plus, obviously, I don't know how you question that decision when he leads off of 45:18 and puts him away.
Oh no, the leadoff was incredible.
Right.
Like,
so I think what you have to do is you got to work those 2 middle guys a little better. They got to do a little better, because that was phenomenal. And Abby Steiner's 22:41, the preliminary, was just workmanlike. It was incredible. And then, Terrence Laird. I mean, let's go.
That was my, move aside. The Terrence Laird 200 was really, really impressive. I know the buzz around that race was Bowling was going to win the race. It was never really in doubt once the gun went off that Laird had that in the bag. Bowling never got close to him. Yeah. Obviously, he got DQ'd for coming out of his lane, coming off that last turn. But
I mean, I'll say he got close in the middle of the second turn, but it's like as soon as Terrence felt him, he took off again. Mm-hmm. And that was a textbook run. Kudos to Terrence and his coach Dennis Shaver for that one. That was nice. There was the big multi-event battle that kind of went awry at the end, but with Miss Hall and oh my God, the young lady from Texas A&M. I always want to mess with.
It starts with a G.
Yeah.
Gittins.
Yeah.
But you know what? She deserves a lot of props for this past weekend, because obviously she's a HEP, and obviously she screwed that up. But for her to come back and do the individual performances that she did and put all those events away, like, she crushed the event that she screwed up in the HEP and won the NCC title in it. And I mean, that speaks to
And see, and here's the thing: if you don't, you have to either be in the building or go back and look at the results carefully. She won the high jump, went over and took 3 jumps in a row.
Yeah.
So she went over and she jumped 13 feet, and then she jumped like 15 feet, and then she jumped 21 feet on her 3rd jump.
Wow.
Because she was having the same problems in the first 2 jumps that she had in the pit. And then she goes on her last jump, she wins the event. Yeah, so she was phenomenal this weekend. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's gonna be a problem at the national meet if she figures it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big showdown. But clearly in that she better get away from Anna Hall, because Anna Hall can run a heck of an 8 and she doesn't. So she better have a big lead.
Yeah. Anna Hall is a full-grown orca. She's been a big game hunter for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
On the other coast, indoor meets have been scarce, and props to Air Force for throwing together championships at the peak, is what they ended up calling it. A blend of a whole bunch of schools and a whole bunch of conferences, but the best performance that I saw in that building was Michael Williams from Oregon running the 649. Now it gets altitude adjusted up to 53, but it was smooth, powerful, blew everybody away. It really wasn't much of a race, and that's my first opportunity of seeing that young man up close and personal, and he's really, really good. So
Powerful is a great way to describe that young man.
Props to Curtis Taylor. Listen, he's not big as far as like stature. He's not tall, but that dude, he is solid. Like, I was shocked at how strong that kid is. Like,
yeah,
he's like Russell Wilson. Like, he's not small. He's just short.
yeah. Like, he's very impressive. So props to him and Curtis Taylor out at Oregon. It's going to be fun to watch the 60 at the NCAA.
I'm still putting all of my Bitcoin on on the guy that's raced one time this year.
You don't even own any Bitcoin, so stop.
Just to he was like that I had to go run. So
I'm gonna go homer, and I'm gonna give a little shout out to my man Thomas Mardall. 78, I mean, whatever he threw, 79 feet. It's funny, I'm in the front part, and I walk back, and my trainer says, I really think you need to go over to the weight throw. So I think something's wrong. And I walk over there, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, he just threw 78-10. Like, what? So, and then he follows up, he ends up throwing 24-14, 79-3, like the 6th first performer in history. So it was a great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's the only other guy. Like, there's only been him and the other 5 guys, the only guys that thrown 24 meters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, you got sent on a wild goose chase, false alarm kind of thing.
Yeah. And let's give some love to, that's the other conferences. I mean, Ja'Cory Patterson, incredible double over in the ACC meet, 45 low and 2060 something. On the ACC women's 800, I mean, because it didn't have Miss Moo up front, but I think 6th or 7th place was 205 in that race. So that was good, and a lot of good. I mean, and the 4x4 at the SEC meet was great.
Yeah. Yes, it was
on both sides. I mean, 328, meet record in that race for the women. So for 2 teams, and also let's give credit where credit's due. Big shout out to Eric Royale, the Texas Longhorns, for sweeping the Big 12. Coming down to the 4x4 on the men's side to get that done.
Yeah, it's funny. I had somebody call me today and say, "Hey, am I crazy for thinking that USC is going to win the national meet in the 4x4?" I said, on the women's side, I was like, "No, you're not crazy. I mean, it sounds crazy because of the collegiate record." I was like, "But I don't think you're the only person that thinks that."
Yeah, we definitely
like
there definitely 2 people in LA that think that they're going to win.
Absolutely.
Since we're talking about the incredible performances from this past weekend, can I take a moment to complain about something? Is that fair? Can I do that?
Let me see, what show is this, Chu?
Nah, look, I'm just
asking,
saying,
like how many weeks has this been? This is a serious question.
Oh, this is 48.
48.
Okay, so
because
my question to you before you start is, why would you stop complaining in week 48 when you've been complaining for 47 weeks?
Fair enough, but I really don't like having to do this. It kind of pains me to do this. My former employer, Alabama State, my former boss, Richie Bean, has an incredible freshman from the Midwest named Tiona. I think it's Tiona Brown.
Brown.
Is her name.
She's from Indiana, Northern Indiana.
From Indiana, right outside of Chu's backyard.
Yeah.
This young lady, as a freshman, came in and swept the 60 meters and the 200 meters at the SWAC. Incredible performance. Props to her. Wings up. Alabama State. Always be proud of that program in my time there. But the SWAC did her a disservice. And she belongs in the NCAA championship. But if not for the setup of the meet, she's not. This young lady ran 23.7 in lane 2 of a timed section final on the Birmingham track. Why we're at a conference championship running races in lane 2 is beyond my comprehension. And that if you've ever run at Birmingham or have athletes that have run at Birmingham, for her to run that fast in that lane on that track, you put her in 5, 4, or 6 on that track, and she's in the top 16. And the only reason she's not is because people sitting in an office decided it's cool to run in lane 2 at the conference championship. That is ridiculous. It should never happen. And the SWAC and HBCU world and Alabama State should be having a representative in the top 16 at the NCAAs, and y'all screwed that up. And I'm not. That's not cool. We got to do better. It's got that can't happen.
You know, I actually don't even disagree with your rant this time. I would agree.
They had it on YouTube. Like the meet's still on YouTube. Like, go watch that race. That young lady is incredible. By the way, she won the 60 in 7:38 as a freshman. She's a monster.
7:31.
I'm sorry, 31.
Yeah.
She's a monster. And she should be in the meet. But she running in lane 2 in a championship 200 final. It's crazy. Crazy.
Okay. Any other great things happening around track and field this weekend?
I mean, there was one other thing. I still can't believe I talked to this young man's coach after him breaking a world record, and he says, on the outdoors. Like, I know it was last week, but it's still just, it hasn't that over. No, I know it was last week. But we never talk about it because he doesn't ever want to talk about it.
We absolutely talked about that.
No, we mentioned it. We don't ever talk about it because he's like Belichick, on to the outdoors.
What would you like for me to say? Okay, okay, I'm going to allow you to ask me any question you would like to ask me.
Okay, wonderful. Here's my question.
Now, just understand, just because you asked me, I have to answer.
That's fair.
That's very Belichickian, right?
That is very Belichickian. Now we're on to Cincinnati, I see.
Yes.
How close to your internal desire or prediction for Flamingo did he actually run?
And I've told people I have visions of 7:19 in the future. I mean, that's not now, right? But I really thought he could run 24-25 this year. And I still believe he would have if he'd have started more efficiently in the final. If you watch the race closely, he starts and he has like a lag on step 2, and he restarts again on step 3. That momentum right there, I think, cost him running faster.
I mean, it was terrible. You should fire him for sure.
I see you. See,
Right.
stuff.
I'm just messing with you. I'm messing
See,
with
so see, and that's why we just get where we're on outdoors. That's why you get.
Listen, we have to mess with you because I think anybody who would actually have access to Belichick and could actually get him to smile and laugh would do the same. Because you are definitely very Belichickian when it comes to things that happen in track and field, and I think that's awesome. I really do. I don't think it's bad at all.
Okay. Well, back to the collegiate world of track and field. On to Cincinnati. I think we have to give props to the young man from LSU. 833 in the long jump, and he wins the high jump, and he's reported to be a little ill, actually throwing up before the high jump. So
my Bowerman watch list, absolute, list. Jovan Harrison, man, he's crazy. And look, just the SEC long jump competition, period. Competition wise, that was the best competition of the weekend by far. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on in Arkansas with the ramp.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna disagree with you.
Well,
the best competition of the weekend was the men's 400 at the SEC meet, where 45.9 got to 7.
Yeah,
it's close. Yeah. I think I like the long jump better, but
yeah, because you're a long jump coach. That's what.
Oh no! Excuse me. I reject that distinction.
Okay. You dabble in the jumps.
I dabble when I need to.
Okay.
No, you will not put that collar on me.
Oh no, it's okay. I apologize. I didn't mean to paint you into that box, but
coaching jumps is taking 2 years off my life at least.
Yeah. Well, I think 795 was 6th in that competition. I think.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Like bowling's what did he jump? 807
was 4th.
Yeah. And bowling's 807 would have won every other conference except the ACC.
Nope, it won the ACC as well.
Oh yeah, because that's right. He actually didn't jump that far. You're right. For him.
Right, for him. I mean, and I think that knowing him, I don't know him that well, but I know his coach, pretty well. I would think that they were probably saving some bullets because there's no and fire a bullet. We didn't have to. So if you want to see a great event, let's talk about the NCAA championships coming up. I think I think the men's 400 is going to be retarded. I think the men's 60 is going to be retarded. I think the women's 400 is going to be very, very
women's 400 is going to be brutal.
Yeah. And I mean, and if you really want to see an out and out war, do not miss the last heat of the women's 4x4 at the national meet.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't watch any other event. You show up with your popcorn ready because that one is going to be one for the ages. Because you got 4 very talented teams and 4 very good coaches.
You literally have one team that's broken the national record already and 3 others that are absolutely capable of doing it.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, honestly, from a war standpoint, the men, it could be just as competitive. It won't be as fast. It won't be as inspiring on the times. But there's no great team on the 4x4 this year. Right. But there's like 5-6 teams that can all win it. And that's going to be a war.
That's a good point. I think that if everybody stays clean, and especially in that last heat, because of the people that will be chasing, if bowling pulls the 45-1 out again, and everybody's chasing that, then it gets interesting because, what's his name? Randolph Ross runs second leg for A&T. He's going to be coming. All of a sudden, if everybody stays clean, that could really become a 303 low race really quickly. If everybody just doesn't bump into each other.
It's funny that you mentioned bumping because I think that unfortunately is going to be the story of the men's 400. Each heat's going to have 4 guys that run 45 seconds,
right?
And that is going to be rubbing his wrist.
We had 2 of those heats at the SEC meet, and surprisingly, they were very clean. Now the second heat got crowded at the end, and I would say more probably in the last 50 to 60. That's probably where your bumping will happen because everybody seems to be doing a very good job of managing the break this year. I haven't seen a lot of crashes there, but literally in the second heat, I think it was 45-66, 45-67, 45-70, Yeah, like fourth place might have been 45-80 something or something like that. It was crazy.
Yeah, see, I think at NCAA's, men's and women's for that matter, they're so good right now that the smart people and the smart coaches understand if you have a field of 16 athletes and everybody's running 45, but no one yet has run 44, you better get to the break because no one's coming back to you. So I think we're definitely gonna see some car crashes, somebody flying off the edge. Like it's gonna happen. There's no way that it's not. There's just no way.
Yeah, I think that you're gonna see some phenomenal hurdling this weekend. You know, the men's hurdles all of a sudden got real crowded at the top. I think obviously our guy at Florida State, you know, Trey's the clear favorite based on history, but all of a sudden, you know, Damian Thomas shows up around 760, looks good doing it. You know, the guy at Iowa had an off weekend, you know, but then all of a sudden this young man at Arizona State runs 760 something. You know,
Right.
the freshman.
That's another one I saw in person. You know, people that haven't really been paying attention to the West Coast, and especially, like I said, there's just haven't been a lot of indoor opportunities. Jamar Marshall is real. Jamar Marshall is a problem, and don't let his age fool you. Like that kid has the mentality that you want, that you need. It would not shock me at all if Jamar Marshall came out with the championship. It should be Trey's time. He's the man. He's the senior. He's the favorite. But don't sleep on the freshman out west. Like he's that kind of different in the head. He could do it.
Here's my the guy that's the fly in the ointment for all of them if he manages from hurdle 1 to hurdle 3, Eric Edwards, because nobody in the field can start with him. Not one person. He will be the leader at the first hurdle. And if he manages from 1 to 3, he might not come back to him. You know, and then in the women's race, you got the young lady from Baylor, you got Brissett. You know, the Miss McMinn just went 8 flat. You know, that's a pretty top heavy race as well.
Same kind of thing, right? I haven't been able to see the young lady from Baylor, and forgive me, her name is escaping me right now, but she's incredible, especially given her age. Like that's been the surprise of the women's hurdle field this year, is because she's that young, she's stepping up in there and running what she's running. Like everybody's waiting on Brissett to do what Brissett does. I mean, she's already won it before, but the young lady from Baylor is very, very good. And, you know, apparently there's a young lady down south that, you know, is everybody seems to be sleeping on somebody's campus. I don't know. We're not familiar.
And so it begins again.
You know.
Oh, that's why I got on these arm sleeves, so I could be aerodynamic.
And I mean, while we're talking about great events, I think that the women's 200 is going to be nice. And obviously Abby's your favorite, but Miss Flannel from Texas is starting to come around, and the young lady from LSU to jump 22.75. You know, it's like her second race of the year. She's a young lady that showed up in January. She's done that already. You know.
Very nice races in that. I'd honestly be shocked if anybody got close to Abby. Like I just think, I think she's in a different zone right now.
Right.
I mean, I'm ready to toss out my 200 meter predictions for the Olympic team USA and put Abby in there. That like she looks like that.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, she does look that good though. I don't know that I would go out on that limb yet, but she does look that good.
I'm not going out on that limb. I'm not even climbing that tree because it's indoors. You know,
I hear you. I'm just saying. You roll it out the outdoors. How much? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be worse.
You know, but we've seen that some people are just built for indoors, and you know, I'm not telling you that she shouldn't be starting to be talked about. I ain't going out on that limb. Like I said, I'm not even climbing that tree. Not yet. Not yet.
Lamar, can we get an over under on how long after the NCAA championships Miss Moo is no longer in uniform?
Ooh. I mean, here's the question, right? Will they make it worth her while to not run outdoors at the NCAA level?
Right.
Because here's the thing, like if I'm a shoe company, like in all honesty, like why would I pay you now when I can just wait till June? Because I'm not paying for anything. Does that make sense? Like if I pay her now, the checks start now. And in all honesty, like what am I paying for in March, April, or May?
Sure, but we have seen that happen.
No, for sure. But I mean, the economics of it, like maybe you're trying to jump the gun, right? So maybe you're the first one that shows up with the check. So maybe that's why you do it. Over under. Whew. How long after NC? So
does she make it to Eugene on a collegiate roster?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that.
To see it. I want to see it.
I'm gonna say 44.11 seconds after she crosses the line in Eugene.
Right. So no year 2. We don't get 2 years.
No chance.
No, there's no line on the second year. I mean,
there's no line.
I mean, there's two sides to it. I mean, there's the, as you said, the shoe companies. I mean, obviously, if it's the swoosh, they're a swoosh school, so she's already wearing their stuff. So there definitely wouldn't be. But if their hand is forced, they might be forced to pay for it. Somebody else comes in and offers her a bag of money, they might have to offer 2 bags of money. So I mean, I just think you think about the people that have turned professional right after the indoor season. You know, Bianca Knight, she ran 22:40, I guess, and she was like gone like 40 hours later. LaShawn Merritt ran 44 seconds. He was gone like within a week. 158.4 is a lot better than both of those.
That's
a
why
lot
I'm
better.
throwing the question out. Like it really is.
But the funny thing is, though, and look, and this is, I know you're on the show, so like, forgive me for this, but Karan ran outdoors.
Yeah.
And so what's your point?
And so did.
No, I'm saying like, so he broke a world record indoors, right? And he ran outdoors. So like, I guess my point is, there's not really a precedent for it, right? They'll figure it out one way or the other, is what I'm saying.
But there is a precedent for it. We just talk a precedent, or we just talked about people who did it.
But but what I'm saying is that there's not maybe precedent's not the right word. There's not a blueprint. There, like Karan's performance is one that could very easily have vaulted him to pro immediately after the NCAA indoor meet. But I'm not even sure that y'all really talked about that.
Oh no, there was a long conversation.
and I mean, I'm sure Grant could have gone pro,
and I'm sure that
4 seconds into college.
No, I see that no.
You know what I mean, though. I'm saying like he was in school way longer than the Vegas odds would have had.
Yeah, but I don't know why. Like, what did Grant do his junior year during the sophomore year, not junior? I'm sorry, sophomore year during the indoor season that said turn pro?
No, I
beat everybody. You're right. Time wise, you're right.
I mean, he broke the collegiate record. Don't get me wrong. But he ran 7:42, and it was like, so like that was kind of that, you know. But like when we're talking about Miss Mo, like you're talking about 158.4, 120, whatever she ran, 50.4. It's not just the 800.
Yeah,
right? The whole ball of wax. And then the other thing is this. Okay, it's like, look at her. She's the prototype, whatever she wants to be.
And to that point, and this is we already know that it's ultimately going to get screwed up, but I really, really wish, I hope the world has evolved to the point where it won't. The hype machine, and I say hype respectfully because she's deserving of all those praises. The hype machine that was following Sydney McLaughlin was enormous, and she earned everything she got, and props to her. She's the face, or one of the faces, of New Balance, and rightfully so. Whoever is lucky enough to tie their cart to a thing move, she should get all of that hype and plus, because she's better. She's better at what she does. And she should be on billboards. She should be the face of whatever the hell company picks her up. And I really hope the world has evolved enough to see that young lady as a face of somebody's brand, because she deserves it.
And if you listen to her speak, it's just brilliant special soul.
Her
And-
interviews are engaging, and that's why I brought up the Sydney, because when Sydney talks, Sydney's intelligent. You want to
Right.
hear what she has to say. Her interviews aren't boring. Moo's the same thing.
Yep.
And she deserves it.
And at the end of the day, I mean, I'm a track and field fan. I'd love to see her outdoors, and I'd love to see her do some special things because when you get her outside, she can open up and not be on the tight banks. Because that's going to be very scary. And I'd love to see it, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. I really wouldn't, because you know that the shoe companies are all over her as we speak. Because that's what they do. And if not the shoe companies, it's the agents. There's no way that anybody in their right mind thinks that somebody's not trying to get her to leave school yesterday.
I mean, the funny thing is like usually I'm on the camp of, you know, it's too much too early and yada yada yada. Like honestly, her going pro now, like what it actually makes sense. I'm not like I'm a fan too. I would love to see her in a uniform, a collegiate uniform for at least her freshman year. I would. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're on 158.40 indoors, curb stomping everybody that you race. Like it actually might act like from a time perspective, it actually makes sense to go pro.
Yeah.
So
and let's give props to Milton Mallard, who's the one that's, you know, pretty much working with her every day. You know, he's done a phenomenal job.
You know, usually when we're jumping on these youngsters and right, someone is wanting to pay them, you know, big boy money for something they do that is fast for their age. Like what she did is fast for any age.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying like it's a different scenario. Like you run 158.40, it doesn't. She could be 38. Like it, you know, it doesn't matter. Like that's really damn fast
By herself, a time trial.
Well, who else could run with her?
No, I'm
And
just
not.
I mean, she won the race. She won the race by 4 seconds.
Yeah,
over 4 seconds.
And we could legitimately watch this young lady go out there and run 49 seconds indoors.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And already
if she runs 49 seconds indoors, that increases the chances of you never seeing her outdoors. I can tell you that.
Absolutely. So, hey, incredible.
Has anybody ever had the collegiate record in the 4 and the 8 indoors at the same time?
No way.
I mean, I can't imagine that anybody has.
No.
I don't know the answer, but I'm betting on hell no.
I was gonna say I'm guessing also that may very well happen.
You could probably bet all your Bitcoin on that.
Yeah, all of it.
All none of it. Couple things. The hurdler from Baylor is Akira Nugent. I think that's who you're talking about.
Nugent, yeah.
And we have to do this young lady justice. We've been saying her name wrong the whole entire time. It's a thing, Mo. I'm going to go with the newscasters, the broadcasters who keep saying Mo. So our apologies. It's been a couple weeks. We're fixing it now. This is to rectify all the weeks in prior. So we will get it right going forward. But yes, all good things. And I'm sure there's something we missed and someone will tell us, but all things that we can think of right now, for sure. But let's go back. Let's move on to the next big NCAA thing that's happened this week. NCAA has taken a stance and made a statement on their process for ratification for world records, national records, things of that nature, U20 records. And they will not, I guess the best way to say this is take financial responsibility. I guess that's the best way to blanket that. What are your thoughts on this?
Lamar.
Yeah.
You got your on for a reason.
Every now and again, it's clear that I'm the powder keg and y'all run around with fuses and matches. Okay, I just, you know what, I'm gonna empty both barrels on this one. I'll start with this. I think it's ridiculous that the NCAA doesn't drug test every championship in every sport. Let's start there. And it's only for financial reasons that they don't. And I keep saying, What are they saving money for? They're supposed to be a nonprofit organization. 2, beyond that, if someone breaks a national or international record, the fact that it is the student athlete and their school representation's job to A, secure drug testing, the proper drug testing. So it has to be drug testing for the level of record they said. 2, they have to secure transportation to an accredited testing facility, because if they're not being tested at the meet, they have to go somewhere else to be tested. And you can't just walk into a hospital and say, hey, give me a drug test.
Within 24 hours.
Within 3, yes, I know I said A, 2, 3, and I'm good with it. Within 24 hours. And D, they gotta pay for it. And I keep saying to myself, what is the NCAA for? Why are institutions, member institutions of the NCAA, when this kind of administrative thing is not covered in all of the things that you do and all the hoops you jump through to be an NCAA accredited institution? Like, I don't understand. How is it that you are going, like, how can you be okay as a national governing body, you know, as the national entity, with 3 world records happening during your championships? You tout them on television, but then they never get ratified because you don't do the drug testing, and the folks involved either don't know all the process or don't run the process properly. But long story short, it doesn't get ratified. Like, we're not talking about massive amounts of money to have in that meet 3 people, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people drug tested. Like, we're not talking about it like, you know, like, you don't have to drug test the entire field, right? And the track ratification is also not expensive. So I don't understand this. But the fact that it literally is, for one, there's no official statement about the records that have happened and can no longer be ratified, nor is there any explanation as to how they justify this stance. Like, I don't get it. And I keep saying, what are you paying for being an NCAA institution? When people keep talking about the NCAA like being disbanded for Division I, like bowl subdivision football, oh, that's the reason it's going to happen, because of things, because of things like this, right? They're still running things like a mom and pop store, like this is 1974. Like, how was the NCAA not responsible for that?
When I saw the statement, I had 2 immediate reactions to it. The first was, how disrespectful. The second was shock that they actually admitted it, because most people, and I mean most people like in the sport, didn't actually understand the levels of detail of why this issue even, you know, exists. To be clear, anytime you go to nationals, in the coaches meeting, they give you the "be prepared to be drug tested" speech. And we all are like, okay, we know you have to say that, but in the past couple of years, it's like 80% of the time, there ain't nobody showing up to drug test, period. But even if they did, understand that drug test isn't worthy of a world record ratification or a world junior ratification. So I don't know, you know, I'm a pretty, you know, normal, high caliber sports fan. I like a lot of the NCAA sports. I watch a lot of them. Us and swimming are, as I understand it, the 2 sports in the whole of the NCAA where the peak of what we do is possibly world-class, world record stuff.
Correct.
I find it blatantly disrespectful that the NCAA doesn't think enough of what it is our athletes are doing and our coaches are doing to make sure that these kids and their performances are etched in stone forever. It's just disrespectful. And the idea that they're doing it to save money is pathetic because it don't even cost that much. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if Miss Mo goes out in Arkansas next 2 weeks from now and sets, you know, a world record, indoor world record in the 400, I'm sure that Pat Henry and Texas A&M are aware of what is necessary and have the funds to get it done. But what if Francina McCory did it when she was at Hampton? Like, that stuff's not cool.
Michael Norman did it at USC.
Right. Michael Norman did it at USC, and that record apparently has not been ratified.
And won't be.
Right. Can't be now. And so it's disrespectful. And I really can't believe that they admitted that in writing. There should be a social media campaign. There should be letters written. Like, that is totally disrespectful. And I can't believe. I want to know if it's that way in swimming. I want to know if they treat swimming this exact same way. Because if they do, both of those sports and everybody that works in them should flame the NCAA for that.
Oh, you know, my initial reaction was, okay, like, we've lived that, so I wasn't surprised by the statement. I just think they wanted to put it out there. I think it was put out there probably in the wake of Miss Mo being named the American Junior, you know, or World Under 20 record because she broke the record that was never ratified by Sit, right? So I think that's where the statement comes from. I too think it's absolutely ridiculous that they don't have more respect for us and what we do and how we do than just to show up and, you know, I think we've paid for one of those tests before. It's like $150, something like that. It's not something that's, it's just, you know, it's a round of drinks for some of those folks. So, you know, I just think, again, it's disrespectful. I think it's a shame. And I just hope that if something happens, that said school has the resources to get it done once it happens. Because, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bash the NCAA. They're wrong, but just if you got somebody in your campus that's ready to do something special, be ready to get your medical people on that as soon as they cross the line.
Got it. I hope everyone that needs to hear that heard that, and if not, share it with them 1,000 times over. Right.
Just as an FYI, if you're a pro and you go to a meet that doesn't have drug testing, you have to do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
Because that's why Christian Coleman, when we were all together, I think at Clemson, and he had to drive to Atlanta.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first time.
I know we walked over to his coach and said, you better call USADA because you're going to need him after the final.
We did, but I didn't want to give us props for that. But I just think, I think the appalling thing about it all, like, A, is that it's true, but I think B, that they actually had the gall to put it in writing. Right? That's like one of those underbelly things I think that some of us knew, but they actually put out like an actual stance, like, nah, we ain't paying for that.
Well, but then the stance was made so that, you know, they're not paying for it. So now there's not somebody walking around asking them to pay for it. I mean, I am surprised that you guys are surprised. Nothing about that surprised me at all.
I mean, you know what? Given how the NCAA has acted during the COVID situation and football, you are correct. I should not be surprised at their inactivity and their unwillingness to pay for anything. You are correct.
So I am going to respectfully ask Big League to move on because this is getting ready to turn a corner. We do not want to go around.
I was there. I was already there. I was getting that yawn out and I was good.
Fast like Felix is about to be on fire.
All right.
We have all heard this rant before, have we not?
This is me putting my blinker on and we're moving over in the other lane.
Yes, thank you, Big League.
So let's talk about something that we can actually be excited about. There has been a great announcement for the transition of outdoor competitions. Both USATF and Chula Vista Elite have announced that they have put some events together for the post-collegiate elites to compete at domestically. So what impact do we think that's going to have on our domestic athletes in their competitions prior to Tokyo?
True. Before we do that, can you recite, what information has been released? Can you, for the audience, so they know?
So USATF specifically has put out a list of events, some to be determined or announced. Some have been kind of dark etched in. I don't know if they're pen etched in. And then Chula Vista Elite has done the same. Well, I would say theirs is in pen and has been released, at least by Jeremy Fisher, the head of that facility, to be hosting certain events with respective dates. And I know those can be found on runnercard.com. I just saw that. But there's going to be actual competitions where they're going to see track time, sand time, ring time, respectively.
Let's see. They have.
Okay, that's cool.
No, we do. They have.
Some do, some don't.
Saturday, April 3rd, Saturday, April 24th, Friday, May 7th, Sunday, May 9th, Thursday, May 13th, Tuesday, May 18th, Saturday, May 22nd, and Sunday, May 23rd, Tuesday, May 25th, Saturday, May 29th, and Sunday, June 6th. Now, all of those have dates concrete, but they don't all have venues concrete. I'll say it's about 50-50 as to concrete venues. And I didn't want to, bore folks with, well, this is a venue, this one isn't. But the dates are all that, like I just read from the press release. So the dates are all concrete, theoretically.
Well, no, the dates are important, at least, for the audience, because I know a lot of coaches watch this show and may or may not be aware of that, people that work with people that need those opportunities. So I appreciate y'all shouting out the dates. For me, I think this is an incredibly big deal. And we already know the ATL series has something coming out. So that's going to be another set of opportunities. But, props to Chula Vista Elite and props to, USA Track and Field for stepping up and creating these opportunities, because, the COVID situation is still very much real, and still the biggest, obviously the collegiate season is moving and going to continue to move, and the collegiates are going to get their opportunities outdoors. But one of the caveats to the collegiate meets being able to function outdoors, at least on my campus and on a whole bunch of other people's campuses, is they're limiting it to the absolutely necessary situations, which means, the pros, not really our problem. We're going to focus on these kids and getting our meets off. So these opportunities are absolutely necessary. And, if they weren't happening, there was going to be a whole lot of post-collegiate athletes that were going to be struggling to get opportunities to get their qualifiers for the Olympic trials, or drop a time that gets you, an invite on a plane to go to Europe, which, is obviously a very COVID taxing situation in itself. So, I appreciate those organizations stepping up and creating those opportunities. I think the meets are going to be exciting. I think you're going to see a lot of surprises. I think people are going to be excited to get these domestic competitions. And just like ATL has done indoors, I hope that everybody gets involved. I hope all of our athletes, take up as many of these opportunities as possible, so it can be seen like, oh yeah, actually we can do this thing here and do it well. And it doesn't have to be a 1-year COVID specific situation. This stuff should have been happening for a really long time. And I hope that it goes well so it can stay. So everybody flood these meets and run, jump, throw your asses off, make it look good, because that's what has to happen.
Yeah, I concur with all of that. And I think that the best thing I can think of that has come out of this COVID situation is finally the professional organizations have come to the realization that they can no longer be lazy and allow the pros to be subservient to the collegiate places that they train and that have meets already, right? They didn't have to ever worry about putting on meets or having infrastructure because you could go to Florida Relays and then go to Penn Relays and then go to, Raleigh Relays, and you could go to Texas Relays, and you could go to all these meets that already existed, right? And just intermingle. And I always thought, like, that's just so lazy. And so, like, I'm super excited that the success of the ATL indoors has brought about and spurred the thought process that this is a real thing and can be a real thing outdoors with just pro track athletes. And with that smaller grouping and infrastructure, it makes better television. And all of these things have made, and would always have made a bunch of sense, right? It never made any sense to me that you get out of college or you finish your collegiate eligibility and then immediately you had to get your passport sharpened because you were about to go to Europe for 9/10 of the season in order to make a living as a track athlete. And so I'm very hopeful that these things go off well and they're very well attended. And I think COVID is going to help in that regard. Like, at the end of the day, I mean, I think all of us would rather fly as short or drive as short as we can rather than fly over to Europe to have to race. I think that'll be good.
I think the key word for me there is hopeful. I'm very hopeful, one, that the professional, post-collegiate, whatever you're calling yourselves, athletes take advantage of this opportunity and go actively participate so the meets are a success. I am hopeful that USA Track and Field, after the pandemic settles down, does not go back to being dependent upon the college meets. I think that having a series of meets for professionals will professionalize the sport.
Yes.
It will make it be viewed as something that's serious when you just continue to throw the mitt with the collegians. Oh, here's an event, here's a heat, that kind of thing. There's nothing professional about that. There's nothing serious about that. USA Track and Field, you are the governing body of our sport. Govern the sport, promote the sport, do the things necessary to make it be the professional sport that it is claimed to be. So I am hopeful that somebody takes this bull by the horns and rides it right off into where it needs to be, and that's a high road to success. Because if it's done right, it will be successful. Because people in this country love track and field. I just don't think it's been presented to them on the right kind of platter.
And we didn't mention it. It needs to be said. I don't think this number is high enough, but it's a good place to start. The USATF series is not just meets. There's $1 million in prize money that is going to be dispersed throughout, the competitions. I think it should be 10 million, but I'll take $1 million to start with. You know what I mean? So, that's the professional side, right? It's not just, hey, come get your marks in. Like, that, if there's not money behind it, it's not professional. So the fact that there is, that's dope.
Maybe we can get Lamar to sell some more of his Bitcoin to help us out.
Right.
Yeah, I could do that.
Let's talk about I guess more negative, another negative put out by the governing body, the Association of USATF, in regards to the announcements about U20s being canceled. We just talked about a whole bunch of growth and progression and support, but we've cut off the U20s. How do we feel about that?
Well, let me tackle this one first. I mean, I think that the first thing we have to do is I don't want to put a negative slant on it right away. It is definitely a negative in that it won't happen, and we definitely need junior meets in order for the sport to continue to grow. But there will be competitions for those athletes, whether it be the Junior Olympics and series and stuff like that. But I think that this is all spurned in the defense of USA Track and Field from COVID related events, from having, where do you have the juniors? Where do you get the officials from? Because everybody wants to go to the palace or the cathedral. I'm sorry.
That's right. Get it right. Get it.
Cathedral. And so if you're not going to have the junior meet at the cathedral and mix them in with everybody else, which you don't want to do because of numbers, then where are you going to have it? And if you have it, who's going to officiate? So I think that before we absolutely crack USA Track and Field upside the head for doing something disrespectful and wrong, understand that there's a backstory to this, and a lot of it was based on safety protocol.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. Look, it's disappointing. The U20s, we should find a way to figure out the U20 situation and give those kids an opportunity to make their team and go do what they do. It's disappointing, and for the people who aren't the super nerds, like, take a look at the former rosters of the U20s. Like, there's real value in making a U20 team, and a lot of your Olympians who end up with the medals around their neck get there because in part of their experience, their learning experience, that whole thing that surrounds the U20 world schedules. So it's disappointing that that's not going to happen this year. Obviously, COVID is the reason for that, and I would imagine that at some point, somehow, some way, it's going to come out that, hey, we're putting $1 million into this pro series and resourcing. Listen, it's easy to just say it's a COVID thing, but at the end of the day, our organizing body cries poor a lot. Let's not act like they don't, because they do. So
I hear you, sir.
Listen, I'm gonna just say it's disappointing.
Cold.
I'm not ready to explode over it. I'll take the COVID hit on U20s, but it's just another thing that I don't really think needs to happen. I don't think it needs to happen, especially given where we are in the pandemic, all the positive movement that we're getting on the pandemic, and the fact that this meet isn't even supposed to take place until end of June, early July. Like, there's time to figure this out. It's March.
So then my challenge to you is to put a plan together and send it to them. You help them figure it out.
They don't listen to me. What you mean?
You never know. So
well, we had a rethon.
We're gonna complain about it, and we're gonna accuse them of canceling this week because they put $1 million in something else, which is
I didn't make an accusation. I said I won't be surprised if that starts to leak out.
That's pretty much an accusation, sir.
Okay. Well, you know what? We had a rethon the show. I'll send somebody an email. Maybe they watch the show. Maybe they'll just see the show this week. Be like, you know what? The LLC crew is right. We're wrong. We should go ahead and reverse this. Maybe that'll happen.
I am not telling you that I'm happy about it. I'm disappointed for the juniors. But as we've seen, there's been a lot of things that we've had to give up for a year. And another thing is this, okay, is there going to be a junior championships for them to go participate in?
Well, now that's a different issue. But last I checked, I didn't see World Athletics canceling.
Let's wait and see. Maybe they know something we don't know. So before we start throwing darts and bombs and making Bitcoin exchanges here, let's find out what's going on. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I said.
So please be disappointed, because I trust me, I am. But at the same time, let's not act as if that a lot of those children won't have meets to compete in this summer. Nobody's telling you that if you're junior age, you can't run track all summer.
Sir, would you give me this? Would you give me this?
I don't know. Let me see.
Would you give me this? If there is to be no World Junior International meet, if that's not happening, and our governing body is aware of that, shouldn't they wait or let that news come out first rather than jump the gun and have it seem like, oh, well, I guess the USA ain't going?
Well,
harder play.
I don't know. I can't give that to you because I'm not sure that I agree that's where I would do it either. I mean, because at the end of the day, there's certain times, and this is one of those times for me, that we're not in the room, so we don't know the conversation in the room. So again, I'm disappointed. And if it ever came out that there was some Bitcoin exchange for the million versus this meet, I'm with you. I'm going to be up at arms as well. But I'm not. I don't believe that. I'm not the conspiracy theorist that you guys are sometimes.
All right. Well, I can no longer hold my tongue, so I'm just going to say it the way I feel. First of all, I don't understand how and I know we're not okay, but I'm going to say how we're okay with crapping on the same demographic yet again. These kids, the most elite juniors are college freshmen. They just went through not having their senior seasons.
It's one track meet.
No, sir, it is not one track meet. You're talking about a group of kids who didn't have their senior years in high school where you get to be a superstar. They didn't have their senior years in high school, right? And now, and I can tell you this because I did this, when you make a junior team, in your mind, you made an Olympic team. And if ever there's a thing that sparks you, and let's be clear, the percentages are somewhere around 74, 75% of US Olympians who were on US junior teams, okay? Right. So it is the greatest predictor of who's gonna be our Olympians. So the same demographic of people are now getting pooped on 2 seasons in a row. I know it's one track meet, but it's one really important track meet.
And I'm not denying that, sir. But okay, first of all, the whole idea that you cannot lump this meeting with their senior season. Their senior season was canceled for a whole different reason.
I'm not saying that I lumped them in because it's pain. It's 2 sets of pain for the same group of people.
Okay, but you can't say they were pooped on last year because they weren't.
Okay.
The whole world got shut down, sir.
Listen, I understand that. And you know what? We all grinned and bared it, right? Like we all had broad shoulders, hands together, and we wore it. What I'm saying is, if you're in a group, like there's a small group of colleges that are not running outdoors this year, right? Those kids on those campuses have now had 2 outdoor track seasons in a row taken from them. Like, it's just not even. And all I'm saying is, when a championship is a finite one, right? Because you only get until your 20th birthday year to be a junior. Like, this is literally one of those things you don't get back. And so I know nobody really cares what I have to say, but I'm telling you, as somebody who has been on a junior national team and been on Olympic teams, they really ain't that different in the moment. And not having a junior team to make is a huge blow to that group of people. Is it the end of the world? No. Are we going to coach them through it? Yes. But I want to make sure that I'm clear from my perspective. This is a monumental disappointment for a group of people who can never be juniors again. Once the year comes where you turn 20, even if you got a birthday like Angelo Taylor's, where his birthday is 12/30, but he didn't get the world junior record in the 400 hurdles for 2 days, right? At the end of the day, like, you can only be a junior until the year that you turn 20. And so not having a junior national meet is really an untenable situation for everybody who is going to turn 20 next year. And so, yes, I'm standing on the table, beating my hands, because I think it is a really, really big deal, because somebody has to advocate for those that don't have somebody in the room. There is nobody who is in representation of the U20 group in the room. They don't have advocates in the room. There are decisions being made for them that affect them that they don't have a vote on. And I think that's unfortunate.
Lamar, since I was challenged to submit a solution,
Oh boy.
as I was listening to you, I'd like to know if my solution that I just came up with would get your blessing and ultimately Sir Lucious's blessing. Typically, in an Olympic year, in a non-Olympic year, the junior meet and the senior meet coexist. Typically, in an Olympic year, they do not. They're at separate times at separate locations. Well, our Olympic trials, unless somebody dropped another notification that I somehow missed, our Olympic trials are still being conducted over 2 weekends in Eugene, are they not? So why not have the junior meet during those 3 days of rest for the pros? That eliminates the too many bodies in the building, does it not?
I think you should send an email to USA Track and Field.
Is it a good idea, brother? I mean, I just came up with that.
Okay, so again, just because everybody's not in the venue, you're bringing more people to the city.
Okay.
Eugene's not that big. But again, hey, I'm not in the room. I'm not making the decisions. And again, am I disappointed that it's not going to happen? Absolutely. But I'm just not with the conspiracy theory. I would, hey, say.
I'll just say this. I don't even care that there's a conspiracy theory to it. I just think it's ridiculous.
Clearly heard your passionate plea. I agree that it's a big deal for people. But, you know, I'm just not on the deal that USA Track and Field doesn't care. The meet is scheduled to be in Kenya. Okay, so we want to talk about big news. You know, put this hat on for a second. It was announced today that more than likely no foreign spectators will be allowed at the Olympic Games.
Which makes total COVID sense to me.
Yes.
And what I believe ultimately will be the case is they'll flip it like, no. You can come if you've been vaccinated.
See, I don't think there's going to be any flip to that. I think it's just going to be simply because again, like, and this has been my thing the whole time. Why would you invite the whole world there when you're not sure who's been vaccinated and who's been vaccinated properly?
No.
I agree with that.
I agree with that 100%. I agree with that 100%.
All I'm saying to you is that statement makes sense.
I'm talking about the Japanese. I think at the end of the day, they're going to say no spectators, and then at the last minute they want their money, so they'll say, to Japan, you can come if you have proof that you've been vaccinated.
They were worried about money. They would never made the announcement in the first place.
Yeah, everything in order, brother. Everything in order.
I just think this. There are a great number of ways for the U.S. junior meet to happen.
Okay, see, so for me, this is not about the U.S. junior meet. Okay. If you're going to have the U.S. junior meet, then you have to, in my mind, you have to send the team to Kenya. I think the caveat we're missing here is that there's probably some issues with getting a team safely to Kenya. I don't think having the junior meet itself is the biggest issue. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not in the room. But if I'm looking at this from a sensible standpoint, the bigger issue is how do you safely travel a group of young people to Kenya in this environment that we live in today?
And here's what I'm saying.
And if you got the solution,
I don't care if they have the U.S. junior meet and they don't go anywhere, as long as they get the gear and they get the recognition of being the elite, the most elite of their peers.
You need to make that passionate plea to USA Track and Field.
I don't have an issue with that. You already know that.
And so I'm asking you to do it. So let me know when you do it.
Okay.
I'd like to be copied on that
co-branded email, baby.
Excuse me?
I mean,
we're going to send a co-branded email from Clyde and Lamar of the LLC.
And then please copy Sir Lucious on that email. I appreciate that. And Brian, make sure you buy.
I was going to say it's going to be a BCC. We'll throw you into that one. Oh, that was funny. All right. Well, let's turn the heat down a little bit. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's make a gender specific Mount Rushmore. Don't get hyphy yet. Like there's a spin. People who are like, they've already done it. The spin is on that Mount Rushmore, you have a runner, a jumper, a thrower, and a wild card. So we'll do one for the males and the females. So you've got to cover those 3 event groups and then your wild card, whoever that might be, if you're going to duplicate one or throw in a multi or someone specific. Do we have anybody that wants to go first?
Oh, I thought you was going first too.
Hell to the no.
She's not playing this week. She said she's out this week.
So I mean, I'll get this started because I think I'm probably going to be
first,
the worst one at this. But
we're going ladies first.
Yes, ladies first. Yes.
Thank you for clarifying that because I thought you were saying ladies first, but in reference to me going.
Oh.
I was trying to Queen Lucious. Like, you cannot be saying that to me right now. But anyway, but you're capable of being the petty jokes that you can be sometimes.
I would not go there, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So one day you're going to. I'm going to remind you that you said you would. So, all right. So I mean, and this is actually tougher than you think about. But for me, I mean, I'm going to go with the runner. I'm going to go Evelyn Ashford. I mean, I just when it comes to that side of it, she's the poster child for me. I absolutely cannot pronounce this lady's name. Isinbayeva, the pole vaulter. Isinbayeva. I knew you would correct me, Lamar. I mean, I think what she did with the pole vault and taking it to the popularity when there was times when pole vault used to be known as Miss Personal Best, and she took it to heights. And then you are definitely going to have to pronounce the hammer thrower's name for me. It starts. I can't pronounce.
Ursula Lodarchik.
That starts with the W, right?
Yes.
Yeah, her.
Ursula Blodarchik.
Yeah, thank you. And I will never pronounce.
Why did I know you were going to say her?
Because like because you know what she did with the hammer, right? I mean, like again, took an event that was new and just took it to incredible heights. And then, I mean, you cannot have a female Mount Rushmore and not have Jackie Joyner Kersee on it, because if you do, you're gonna get voted off the planet. So don't do it. Just don't do it. So that's Evelyn Isinbayeva.
Isinbayeva, yes.
Isinbayeva, and then what's the other one's name?
Lodarchik.
Lodarchik and Jackie. That's my 4. That is my Mount Rushmore.
That was really funny. Sorry.
Well, I knew you could pronounce it.
I thought you did well in a pinch. I thought you did well.
Yeah, you said you're gonna be the worst. Everybody's got world records. I mean, you did
pretty
a good
list
job
right there.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna do the worst because I have issues. So I think we're all gonna be unanimous that JJK is on there. I don't really care how you classify her; she's just on there.
But no, see, you gotta
put her in a spot.
But hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Since the game is that she has to take up a spot.
Okay.
I think the cheap way, and Jackie should not be disrespected by using her in a cheap manner. The cheap way would be to put her on as the wild card. No, she's the first choice. She's the number 1 choice. So Jackie doesn't get to be my wild card. I'm going to designate Jackie as my overall athlete, but she's going in the throwing category because she throws things in the stuff.
My God.
Yes, okay. I'm cheating to get over all this. I am cheating.
This guy.
So that will allow me to therefore have Allison Felix, Evelyn Ashford, and for my jumper, because Jackie's already in, and I'm not really convinced that the rest of the list is all that clean.
Here we go.
I'm putting Brittany Reese on my Mount Rushmore. So Brittany Reese, Evelyn Ashford, Allison Felix, and the GOAT of GOATs, Jackie Joyner Kersee. Designate her how you want.
Well, all I'm going to tell you is that I'm glad there's not a poll.
Oh my God!
You and the Twitter twits.
If you won that poll, I would have to punch everybody.
Win that poll,
look,
and guess what?
You can put the poll up. You already know the audience rides with Clyde.
You've
And
got
Mount
because again,
Rushmore
because you
is
and the
all
Twitter
great.
twits have no respect and no knowledge of track and field. So anyway, go ahead.
So
Listen,
I'm going to say
listen,
this.
hold
Clyde
on,
definitely
before he goes,
Clyde has the nicest team in the history of teams.
But before
Those are four of the
Lamar
nicest
goes,
ladies on the planet.
Before Lamar goes, I'm going to give respect to Mr. Lucious, because the reason I didn't go with Ladarchick is I didn't want to even remotely attempt to say her name. So I ain't mad at it.
I knew that my man Lamar had my back because he always does, right?
Oh my God. Okay.
You got
I'll say this. She's actually
Clyde.
really, really nice also, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I'm not sure what this says about me that every time we do these polls and these things, like I do this off the top of my head, which means there's way too much useless information in my head. That is for sure. But it's not useless, right? I get to solve arguments. So, all right. So no particular order. Let's see. My runner, it just has to be Evelyn. Like there are others I could name. But she's the GOAT and she's awesome. So, I mean, just kind of what that is. The jumper, I'm gonna pick the person whose world record I don't think is ever gonna get broken, and that's Stefka Kostadinova, women's high jump world record holder. Because 210, bruh, no shot. No shot. I think I've seen all of the women's elite high jumpers in the last 35 years. I don't think I've seen anyone attempt 210. I'm trying to think if anybody has actually jumped at 210.
Okay, so your next choices are?
Yeah, I know. I wanted to let that weight drop on the audience, sir. My throws choice is a bit of a homer. I'm gonna vote for Miss Valerie Adams because she's amazing, has been amazing for a very long time. Her brother is an NBA power forward / center, and he's not the best athlete in his family. And yeah, to Clyde's point about being clean, I bet pretty much all my money on that one. It's a tough one because Vladarchik's she's a monster too. So, but I'm gonna go with Valerie Adams. And I mean, okay, there is no surprise. Obviously, Jackie's my fourth. And she's not a wild card. She's going in as a combined eventer. She has a job.
See,
job is
so
to do all
for
things.
the record, the person is in the wild card. It's the
Yes,
event.
the event is.
Exactly. So
So
Jackie's
her
the
event, her
wild card.
Jackie is going in the event area of do it all.
Exactly.
There you go, which involves throwing.
I cannot with you. Oh my
No,
God.
but look, hey, I respect it because honestly, Valerie Adams was on my list, and I was hoping that one of you two would make that same argument that I made for Brittany in the jumps. Because Valerie Adams is nowhere near the top of the throwing list, the shot. It's nowhere close to it. But yeah.
I mean,
but yeah.
Depends on what drug testing we're using.
Right. So, NCAA versus whatever. So, yes, I like what you did there. So I appreciate it.
Well, Valerie's she's highly decorated though. Like she made it, like the world record is not something she doesn't, nor will she ever have, but she's won everything else.
Yep.
How is she your homer pick?
Because I know her.
It's a valid homer pick. We can't help who we know.
She's like actually a homie.
Okay. A homie pick, not a homer pick. that was very confusing. I was like,
Really? I'm actually from New Zealand. Sorry, I meant to tell you.
that's what I was confused. I was like, we just learned something new today. Wow.
All right. So
Let's go to the men.
let's just go first on the men, or is that unfair?
Do you want to sneak
Sir
it back
Lucious,
up?
would you like to go first on the men?
It doesn't matter to me. It's this
All
one's
right,
a lot
sounds
easier.
good.
This one's a lot.
So that means you didn't want to go first. That's funny.
Ooh. I can go first,
Yeah.
but I think I like it better when Sir Lucious goes first.
Okay, so I mean, these are all really kind of cheesy. Bolt's my runner. Carl's my
Why?
jumper. Yeah, exactly. Carl's my jumper. Zaleski, the javelin guy.
Jan Zalesny, yes, sir.
Zalesny, yeah, that guy. And then Edwin Moses is my fourth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, just his dominance in the sport. I mean, I don't know how you have a Mount Rushmore and don't have him up there because he's that guy.
I like it. I think I'm gonna have one or two controversies in here, but Bolt, obviously, Edwin Moses for me, obviously, like those.
Wait, so where's Edwin going? See your wild card?
Sure.
I mean, one of them is a runner, one of them's got to be something else.
Sure, put Edwin in the wild card category. That's fine. So
Okay.
my jumper is Sotomayor. For much of the same justification that Lamar went with his female pick. I've seen that video over and over and over again, and I'm sorry, I don't see it. I know Barshim thought he was getting close, and the world did too.
Oh, he should have broke it. Then he got hurt and got dumped.
Yep. But I don't think he can do that now. I think that window is gone, and because it is, I don't see that one going anywhere anytime soon. So Sotomayor for me, and then on pure projection, and y'all can be mad at it, on pure projection, often like we do in other sports, I'm putting Ryan Krauser on there as my thrower, and I'm just gonna leave it there. He already has one world record, and the accolades to come, and the other one to come, Ryan Krauser.
I mean, that's a super cute pick. I love Ryan Krauser, but you're silly. So the track athlete, I'm just going to go with the obvious, like the two of you, and go with Bolt. But I'll say it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. I think the most hotly contested one for me is the jumper. And at the end of the day, Carl wins over Bubka and over, wow, what is wrong with me? Long story short, Carl wins because he won for a decade straight. And at the end of the day, in an event where there are fouls and wind and weather and all those other things, to beat everybody in the world for a decade straight in every meet you attended is just, that's unfathomable. But it's not a blowout because Soto almost did the same thing. And I mean, Bubka was so much better than everybody else for so long, I think he got bored. And there wasn't money in the sport like there is now, so he kept breaking world records by a centimeter. And like, he would make a bar by this at the world record and then stop. Right. And then the next week, like, he'd break the world record by a centimeter, and he's still like, so like, you know, I'm not dissing anything at all that Mondo's doing, but trust and believe the highest pole vaults ever achieved are still by Mr. Bubka. He just didn't get credit for those marks because that's not where the bar was set. But at the end of the day, if I can only pick one, I do have to pick Carl because 10 years is 10 years. The throws pick is without question Jan Zalesny, and that's not even close, dude. The world record in the men's javelin does not fit in any stadium that currently exists. You cannot throw it and have it land on grass anywhere.
They changed the javelin because of this.
No. This is since the javelin has been changed.
Okay.
Like 98 meters is so freaking far that there's like, it's just, I won't say it's not possible because I mean, a human did it, but I remember we had to stop during the decathlon pole vault when he came up during qualifying in the 96 Olympics because 98.23, which I think is what the world record is metrically, was like in the middle of the pole vault runway. So we're done with that. It's 98 what?
48.
98.48. My bad. Stole 25 centimeters. Yeah, that's just like, you know, that's like Kareem when they outlawed the dunk kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about a dude that doesn't fit in the stadium anymore. So, yeah. And then
You're out. That's 4.
No, that's 3.
That's 3.
That's a thrower, a jumper, and a runner.
Okay, I'm my bad.
And I love Edwin Moses. But I'm gonna pick Ashton Eaton.
Such a
And I'm gonna
Could be.
You're such a hater.
No, I'm not a hater, and it's the
You're such-
unfortunate. Look, I only get 4, and the reason I'm gonna pick Ashton is because, I mean, yeah, I'm biased. I know how hard that event is, but for an 8-year span, he didn't lose. Indoors are out.
Didn't Moses not lose for like 20 years?
No, not quite. You know what? I would like to know whose streak is longer though, Edwin's or Carl's? Like in duration of time. Do either one of you know? I mean, they're the two most
for certain. I
ridiculous
don't know, but I feel like it's Edwin.
They're the two most ridiculous things in our sport for sure. So somebody emailed you. Oh, here we go.
She's already got it.
Edwin Moses, 10-year, 107 race winning streak. And then, oh, I thought it had both. So let's see. So who was the other person? I'm sorry, I was half listening.
Carl Lewis.
Spell it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, find it while we're talking, because I know you can now.
So I will say this: that question was given to us by my man Conway Hill, and Conway also said that he disputes all of our picks in regards to when the next world record to be set. He says it will be set by Mondo in the pole vault.
That's actually a very bright pick.
Yes, it is.
I think it's going to be a race as to who competes first next, Mondo or your favorite thrower, or Mr. Krauser.
I'm just saying. Like you,
I know.
Say what they want. If he got both world records, and again, he's taking down dirty records. So let's be clear about that.
So in the end, like I picked Ashton because in an 8-year span, he broke the indoor world record 3 times, the outdoor world record twice, scoring over 9,000.
It's a worthy choice. It's also a homer choice, and
I mean, it might be. And look, and Edwin will probably punch me the next time he sees me, but I can only pick 4. Because I think I would have taken too much crap for picking Edwin over Bolt, because I considered that.
I did.
So Carl's consecutive streak is 65.
How many years?
It'd be 20 years. It's only 65.
It says
I mean, 109 is ridiculous. We
over the span of 10 years.
So both 10 years, but I'll take the 100.
So that's what I was saying. I would love to know, like, who actually has the greatest duration of actual calendar time, because I think it's really close. It's insane to beat everybody in the world for 10 years at anything. It's insane.
This is true. And we can close on this one, but just to follow up to what you said earlier, you are an endless supply of useless information.
That's why he created the show. That's why he had to do it so he could dump it somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah.
And Soto was how long, sir? 9?
No, he wasn't undefeated for 9 years.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
He lost a couple of times in there. There were actually a couple of pretenders to the throne, and
Pretenders is right.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't put his way. He won everything that mattered for about 10 years.
Yeah.
There you
All right. Well, now that we took care of the fun stuff, let's put Sir Lucious on the seat. He's in the rapid fire. Pew, pew, pew. See how fast he can go now. Just kidding. All right, sir. You ready? Your pillows are good under you?
No pillows.
I'm just kidding.
That was straight shade, by the way.
go. Right.
I got a high chair. No pillows.
Oh my God.
All right. Here we go. Favorite Cleveland Browns player of all time?
That's so easy.
Yeah. Paul Warfield.
Shut up.
What if that's his real pick?
Based on his face, it really is.
You just told me shut up.
She didn't ask greatest. She said his favorite.
His
You
favorite.
know what? Look,
My favorite Cleveland Brown of all time
Look.
is Paul Warfield. Jeez.
Exactly. Golly.
Come on, useless.
All right. Favorite topping on your froyo?
I'm like, what?
Frozen yogurt. I knew that was going to happen.
He lives in Gainesville, Chew.
oh
They
my
can have
God.
frozen yogurt in Gainesville.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I'm
so
done.
first of all, I don't eat frozen yogurt
Okay.
Oh
No,
my
you
God,
have to
I'm
call
so
it
done.
froyo.
often. I don't eat froyo often. And when I do,
Oh man.
I don't usually eat it with toppings at all. So I'm sorry.
Got it.
I'm a plain type of guy.
Oh my
Froyo.
God.
Froyo in Gainesville.
Okay, so what flavor do you get then? When you get it?
Either vanilla or chocolate. Every
Not the
now and then,
swirl?
every now and then strawberry. Now I'm not a swirl type of guy.
Why make the decision? Get both.
It just depends on the mood, you know.
Oh man. All right. Favorite
Nobody
Atari-
better ever argue that Sir Lucious is Bill Belichick of the track and field.
All right. Favorite Atari game? Did we do Atari?
You know it's hard.
Was there more than one game?
Oh my
Oh,
God. I'm
It
so
depends
done.
on who you talk to.
Only thing I remember about Atari was the this was the thing here, and the little ball went back and forth. That's what I heard.
Pong.
Pong.
Pong, that's it. That's all I had. Hey, I'm old and we were poor. So hey, more than likely, if I was playing Atari, it belonged to somebody else. It didn't belong to us.
Got it.
Oh my gosh.
In honor of Women's National Women's Month, who is your favorite female author?
Ooh. Maya Angelou.
Love it. Love it. Kettle corn or regular buttered popcorn?
Butter popcorn.
How many passports have you gone through?
5 maybe.
Wow. Got it.
Wow.
Your
Four,
best
either 4 or 5.
your best subject in grade school?
Pick one. Didn't matter.
I love it. All right. Last but not least, your stopwatch. Is it around your neck or in your pocket?
Oh my God. It's in the parking lot. Oh,
Wow.
one for me.
My stopwatch hasn't been in the parking lot since 2003, mister. Thank you very much. 18
Yes.
years.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't even that, but it was like 2001.
All I know is we were in Sacramento.
2003. You're right. 2003. That was unfair. What was the question again, Big League? I'm sorry.
Where is your stopwatch? Around your neck or in your pocket?
It's definitely in my pocket. Most times it's around my fingers.
Yeah, twirling.
But
Gotcha.
it's either it's around my fingers or in my pocket. I'm not a neck guy. Like if I got a stopwatch around my neck, it's in practice, and I want to make sure I don't forget somebody's wrist. But most times it's either in my pocket or around my fingers. So.
So I've heard this story. Would you like to elaborate on the story that Mr. Fast Like Felix is alluding to?
Not at all.
So
I mean, I think it's on to Cincinnati.
Got it. You all have to stop him in the hallway somewhere and ask him about this story. Anyhow, thank you for playing, sir.
Gosh.
Thank you for
You're
playing.
welcome. Big League, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and the things that you do, and how I don't appreciate the peanut gallery that Mr. Lamar likes to be causing trouble. See, even Clyde has been so good lately. So we are extremely proud of Clyde, but Lamar, come on.
Hey, Lamar's sitting here. He's rolling his sleeves up, so you know he was ready to do something.
He got sleeves on. Looks like a freaking Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I'm aerodynamic, baby.
It does look like a Steeler, man.
Hey, man, if you ain't first, you're last.
I mean, someone told him it was me.
Pittsburgh
to say
Steelers.
so.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was funny.
Please, when you see Sir Lucious, ask him why his stopwatch is in the parking lot in Sacramento.
And I'm going to get you for because I'm going to get text messages about it and phone calls.
Oh, absolutely, you are.
You're paying for that, sir.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, it's that time of show where we say thank you. We show our appreciation. We give our good graces for those who allow us to be the best human beings that we are today. And let's give out our heartbeat props for the week. Is anybody yearning? There we go. I love it.
This isn't going out to anybody specific, but you know what? I'm gonna make it specific. My heartbeat props are gonna go out to Melanie Welty, University of Florida, and all coaches who serve in meet director roles at your track meets. I have never been in that role until right now. I feel your pain. You are special, special, special people, and you do great work. I'm gonna leave it at that.
That's a fun job, isn't it, Clyde?
Oh yeah, it's tons of fun. And Florida Relays is annually one of the largest meets in our country, in our sport. I can't imagine the years of her life that she has lost dealing with that. And I know I have contributed to that now that I am in this seat. So Melanie, you're dope. And everybody that has to serve in this, yeah.
Well,
I will
that's
let
a great
Melanie know you gave her a shout out.
That's a great segue for me. My heartbeat props this week go to a group of people that just they never get any real props, and they should always get props. But during a pandemic, and given all the things that everybody else is having to do, like all the officials that are making sure that all these track meets are happening, like it's like we get it that everybody is doing all these testing and have all these testing protocols, right? So the athletes can compete. But nobody thinks about the fact that nobody's paying for the testing protocols for the officials. Yeah. Right. And I think to be safe and all those things, they're probably getting themselves tested and traveling and doing all of those things. And they do it in the same thankless manner they always have. Like, damn, a pandemic, we got to make sure this pole vault record happens. And for that, I mean, look, officials are always the thankless group, but in this particular case, listen, look, this is my standing ovation for all officials for showing up and doing all the things that they've done to make the ATL, the SEC, the Pac-12, every other meet that possible happened. I know Pac-12, you know what I mean, but all the meets that have happened this year and will happen this year, they can't happen without officials, for one. And the fact that they're not, again, it's a group that's not bargained for, a group that's not being taken care of in this process, but is 100% necessary. Huge props and shout outs go to all people who are officials for track and field meets from the youth level up to the masters level, because there are officials at all of those places.
I am going to give my heartbeat props this week to a large group of people, and that's going to be to the collegiate track and field community as a whole. We were all a little, now I'm going to say we were all, but there were some that were a little doubtful as to how the seasons would come off. Would we have meets? Would they be quality? Would they be this? Not only have the meets been quality, the performances have been phenomenal, and they continue to be phenomenal. Every week they get better and better. So huge shout out to all the college track and field athletes out there who persevered through the COVID situation, through the pandemic, and came out on the other side shining brightly.
I also have a very large population that I was going to give a shout out to, that being the food and beverage providers that we're all ordering from within all of our meets and whatnot. You know, having an order canceled because they had too many orders to provide for. At first I was like, holy crap, now I'm not going to feed squad. But to also understand that means that's how much they are a necessity for us, you know? And so they go through and they hear all of our complaints as large orders, and then they still fulfill their normal customers and their neighborhood people who come in between us, and they do it. They're tired, and I don't know that everyone necessarily says thank you. So here is my thank you to you all, to you Panera's, Noodles, Jimmy John's, Subways, all of you out there. Thank you for providing us with food. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know as coaches, well, we usually starve anyways, but at some point we eat. So thank you for allowing us to eat your food. But yes, wow. Here we are, almost 2 hours later, gentlemen. Good job. Just wait till nationals happens. How much are we gonna have to say then?
Yeah, we are also rushing rapidly towards
52.
I don't know if it's a milestone I didn't think we would get to. I don't even think I had the stones to think that far when we started. Like, I don't think that the idea that we could do a year's worth of shows and not miss one straight, it's unfathomable. So, you know, I want to just shout out to everybody if there's anybody out there who's watched all of these episodes, like, good on you to you.
Oh, I want to know. I mean, there is, but that doesn't. I mean,
not including us four.
No. Moms has seen them all.
Oh,
love
yeah,
it.
she has.
Love it.
I would like to know, Sam, if you have watched all of the episodes.
You know what? Better yet, as you're watching this, because people do this in real time, they're commenting per the video, right? Go ahead and type in your name. Why not? Or at least like it, I guess. I don't know if that's whatever.
Yeah, put your name in the comments or something.
Yeah, put your name in the comments. I'm interested to see that.
If you're 100%, if you are caught up, we want to know. We'll get you get your name on the air for sure.
If you 48 for 48, we will list you off on episode 49.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So for everyone listening on the podcast, you got to jump on YouTube real quick. So do that. But
Indeed.
All right. Well, we've made it through another successful episode, gentlemen. Again, like we just highlighted, 52 is coming up fast. So it's only going to be super exciting, I promise, because it has to be. So
no pressure at all felt, promise.
I know, right? So with that being said, we'll go ahead and sign off for the evening. Thank you so much. Good luck to you all as you enter in your national championships. I know the NAI is going right now, but for the ones that are coming up in the next couple of weeks, 10 days to be exact. Good luck, safe travels, do big things. And until next time, we will see each other soon.
Peace.
See ya.
When the lights come on, the roaches get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth hit them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and field's pacing, we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.